for your presentation. We will discuss it now during the panel discussion, and also invite, let's do this discussion interactive. Please prepare your questions and raise a hand when you have it for all the speakers that you see right now. And I will start from Alexis and Onur, if you allow me, because you represent the banks. So let's start. So this first question will be for you both. How do you segment your customers right now, and what are your plans, let's say, for the future? Let's start from Alexis, because Alexis will share some slides about that, and then Onur to you.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the invitation. Hello, everyone. Just a very quick introduction what BKS Bank is. We are a regional bank in Austria. We serve the southern and eastern part of Austria. We're not very big. Sorry?
No, I'm sure.
Okay.
You're just
we're not very big. We have a segmentation policy in place, basically from two perspectives. One is what customers are profitable. So we have an ABCD segmentation. But we also have a segmentation in terms of sole proprietors, SMEs, larger corporates. So that's our basic way of segmenting. Implicitly, we also look at the customer requirements. So what is the type of products which a slightly larger SME customer will require vis-a-vis a sole proprietor? And that sort of feeds into our personalization process. I hope that explains the answer.
Yes, yes. Onur, maybe this to you, and then...
Actually, I can summarize it into the 3 reports from Turkey's experiences. As ING Turkey, we view personalization as a journey that begins with customer awareness and continues throughout customers' relationship with us. With these experiences, we can see many positive effects. For example, a client is looking to purchase any equipment or something like it for their business. They can show our relevant and meaningful offers at that point. It is really important because the ecosystem makes personalization such a meaningful and relevant. So in Turkey, we made many agreements with business partnerships to provide these services and solutions in 2023 and 4. We can see it's a really powerful effect. And when I talk with clients, I can see the positive effect on the sense of personalization. And the other second, personalization means at the same time frictionless. And we should provide frictionless services to our clients. And at that point, consent management is really important to use customer data. And when we talk with our customers, and they are more willing to share their data during digital onboarding. So digital onboarding is really one of the best part of it. And in Turkey, as I entered Turkey, almost 75 of our customers are fully digitally onboarded. And last one is, as you mentioned, segmentation. After digital onboarding and with the advanced level consents, we should identify our customers, and we should understand their needs and pain points. We have more than 100 advanced level integration with APIs in the real time, in CRM. We try to understand their expectations, and we are making our segmentations, but we are using more, they are not so advanced level models. They are a little bit diagnostic models, rule-based models. I think for advanced level models, we need more time.
Okay, okay. Alexis, and back to you. How do you personalize the offer?
Well, at the moment, so you need to understand how BKS Bank works. We are a very traditional bank, SME bank. We pride ourselves of having long established, strong relationships to customers. So we are still in that model, or we're stuck in that model where the relationship officer will go out to the customer, have a long discussion, have a cup of coffee, understand him, he even knows his family background and all that sort of stuff. And then from that perspective, the personalization happens. So we will find a solution for the customer. And the challenge we have, or I have, is bringing that process into the digital world. Okay, that's really difficult because you cannot reflect all variations of personalization in a digital environment. So what we did is, so we're not in the space of doing vertical or horizontal integration on the customer side of developing ecosystems like the colleague previously mentioned. We were looking at the process more from an internal perspective, trying to understand at what stages of that consultation process of the relationship with the customer do we allow the customer to personalize the loan application by himself, okay? Now, personalization is, and the effect of that would be to find economies in terms of saving operational costs. In other words, the employee would not have to go out to the customer and spend time and money on discussing the customer. So we want to allow the customer to personalize his offers himself. So we have a 3-part step. And maybe I could just show this very quickly. By the way, this is really new. Sorry, this is just a quick introduction of BKS Bank, small bank, local bank. We work together with a company called Backbase. I think there are 2 representatives from Backbase here. So what we do is basically, there's a 3-step process. The first step is that the customer can generate for 4 plain vanilla types of loans. They can generate a preliminary unbinding offer. In that unbinding offer, they can choose what type of collateral they want to provide, as well as if it's an existing customer, we will also provide adequate pricing for that loan. We have his rating, we have certain data in the background, and if it's an existing customer, we can basically use that data to come up with a good price for the customer. Once the customer says, I like that preliminary offer, and this is already customized to a certain amount, so to a certain extent, once he says, I like that offer, he can click and basically accept it. And then, and this is actually where we really are saving operational costs, a list of documents is being generated, which is sort of customized to all the elements of that offer. So that list of documents will depend on what type of loan did the customer apply for, what is the collateral which he asked for, what is the purpose of the loan, et cetera, et cetera. It's a very comprehensive list. So if you calculate the number of variations that list might take, we're talking about 250 plus different types of combinations of that list. Yeah, and that list, the employee sees, sorry, the customer sees that list immediately. He can start uploading documents. And the employee on his side sees exactly the same list and can modify it according to his requirements. Why is that important? Because in the past, what happened is the relationship officer would go out to the customer, he would make him an offer, then there'll be a couple of days where the customer thinks about it, there'll be a second meeting, maybe a third meeting, then finally they come to an agreement. The relationship manager goes back to the back office will prepare, type out that offer. They would generate a handwritten list of what documents the customer needs, and then the customer would sort of gradually provide those documents. A really painful process. And until you sort of finalize the offer and finalize the deal, you're probably looking at 2 to 6 weeks, if not longer, until the loan is approved. Nowadays, that is honestly not acceptable anymore. SME customers want to have the loan approved as quickly as possible. Our goal is to reduce the time to yes as quickly as possible by allowing that element of personalization for the customer, by the customer. So that's how the approach which we took. Yeah, that's it basically.
All right, all right. Gregor, I want to ask the next question to you, and this will be about the segmentation of the customers. Do you think this is a starting point, in your opinion, for the personalization of the offer? Because, like, yeah, is this the first step? And next sub-question here is CRM, I mean, it's important, but is it a necessity here? Because we do have banks in the CE region, like about 40%, which do not use CRM. So from what to start, actually?
I mean, thanks for this question. I strongly believe that you need to start somewhere. Yeah? And segmentation is for sure the first step to go into personalization or micro-segmentation. And I believe all the banks out there do have some segmentation criteria. Yeah? You mentioned you're looking at the profit of the customer as one indication. Maybe you're looking at some industry the customer is in. So I believe this is a very good starting point, and then it's really a lot around what value can you create with a customized offering or a segmented offering. The value is that I can, in your case, I can build my own loan offering as much as you allow me to do that. But the value could also be like, okay, I want not only the loan, but I could get access to some additional tools which help me to run my business smoother. So I believe this is what the banks need to define. And even if there is no CRM there, because your message is right, I would not say it's only in the CE. You see that in the Middle East, the way, if there is CRM, it's not maintained on that level that you could really use it more analytical. Yeah, I mean, this is also where AI comes in again. How can you create next best offers, targeted campaigns? So many banks are working on that, but it's not, I mean, I don't know one bank which just needs to click the button and say, I have all my micro segments out there and I can start approaching them on the digital channel. So everyone finds, and most probably this is some internal tools, some spreadsheets, some data sets to define the segments. But I believe it's not so much about the technology here, it's really about the business need. So what is the offering, this personalized offering you want to prepare for this SME micro segment? And then technology will find the way around, yeah? And you will then have your business goals, how to achieve it. And you just need to make it simple for the SME, because usually SMEs are micro enterprises and they have no time because they need to run their business.
Yeah. And all right, let's talk about the data, because all of you mentioned the usage of the data. And yeah, this is a necessity. And I can say that I think SMEs are really expecting banks to use the data from the open sources or publicly open sources. Not so. Don't ask me as a customer to bring your financial statement if it's open publicly. So banks should use that. Which data exactly, I will start from Ivan, this question. Which data exactly you think or you consider that banks should use to personalize their offer? What is it exactly? And I know you have some slides. If you can have a clicker, Alexis, from you. Yeah, thanks.
Well, I start a little bit wider. So you asked about segmentation and personalization. And I think in that is the answer. So if you segment tens of thousands of SMEs based on 5 criteria, that's segmentation, but that's not personalization. Yeah? Personalization is really about every single human or every single company. And well, nowadays, this was kind of a merged together, segmentation and personalization. But that's why word hyper-personalization was invented to really come to a true personalization. And of course, what is personal that bank has access to companies? And I think that's the banking data, so mainly payment data. And that's also what we as a company do. We dig value out of payment data. And that was the story of our first product. We wanted to get some value out of that. And we realized the value is not there. So that's why we created Topics, which is the product that cleans the data. We just take cards, transfers, whatever. And we identify merchant, location, categorization, and all these parameters, which at the end can be used for basically anything. Yeah? And but the first thing that banks should use is to use it for really personalization and understanding the client. Yeah? So that's, from my perspective, a little bit sad that banks traditionally turn to the other sources, turns outside and not really inside, because this is the only thing how they can differentiate from the rest of the market. Yeah. So also when we talk about individual clients, so you can track my behavior on the internet, and everyone can do that. but only you understand what I'm really doing. Yeah? So, of course, these data are great for personalization, but when we are also talking about what can the bank bring to the customers, except of understanding them, also there are a lot of value-add services that are based on the data potentially that can help clients, and also they can understand they are kind of treated personally. And that's, first of all, themselves, SMEs should understand their data. That's the trend also in retail banking, but in SMEs and corporates less. Of course, corporates are a different story. They are big enough to do everything themselves, but SMEs need simplification of their products, and our banks can support them with a lot of insights and value-add services, like control features. You can block certain businesses on certain cards. If the employees have the card, you can help with tax filing or accounting automation, again, by just better understanding of the transaction. And the new topic of ESG. SMEs don't have to report ESG. Yes, but corporates ask them deliver numbers because they need it. So it's just falling down and down. And again, they don't want to build their internal models and infrastructure. They just need some simple tools. So that's also the other angle, how to showcase that you as a bank care about your SMEs, to really bring them some additional value.
Yeah. What are the obstacles of such a personalization? Because I think, being an SME customer, I do, for example, want my bank to offer me using actually the transactional data, even with the bank, and of course using open banking and retrieve all the data from all the banking accounts. I do want my bank to offer me overdraft, which can be calculated based on my transactions activity rates and forecast whether I have money to pay taxes next week or not. And based on that, I would like to receive the offer, hey, click here to get your overdraft. But instead, I'm receiving the offers to have a car in leasing or something like that, which I don't need much in my business. So what are the obstacles of such a personalization? And this is a question to all of you. Start from Ivan and then we'll go to Gregor.
From my perspective, it's simple thing, detail. Attention to detail. That's the main thing. It's also always the most work. If you do anything, to being the best means you have all the details right. There's no single product that you can't say how it's done on a general level. You can create new Google if you want, but it's all about small details, and that's where we also always see that banks needs to get, and they are getting there slowly, to really get really deep enough. So when I refer to our product, when we talk to banks, they say, we have this data. Say, okay, and then when we do POC or something, they realize, okay, actually not really. So, and that's, if you want to be personal, you need to really understand small details. Of course, the best thing is to get a cup of coffee with someone. We can't beat that. We can actually support it, because also people, if they don't look into their numbers, sometimes they tell something which is not completely right. So combination of these two things is unbeatable. But the easier point, as talking to tens of thousands of customers, is really understanding their data into detail.
Gregor.
I strongly believe that it's also about the focus and the business value the banks are seeing in that SME segment, especially when we look into CE region. For me, there was a lot of happening in retail transformation the last 5-6 years. I remember when we, with one Austrian leading bank, very actively operating in CE, implemented digital onboarding for retail customers, including online loan origination. This was key focus because that was helping to reduce costs, onboarding costs, and it was speeding up the process. The same we see now happening in the SME. Your case of having detailed data, we see that our customers are using this detailed data they have, but only then when they really have that project which is helping them to improve their internal KPIs. And we did that with a loan origination, where actually we did not only improve the enrollment process, but we actually helped to then predict kind of non-performing loan behavior, because then the bank analyzed all the data, as you were listening, the transactional data of the client segment's account, to really predict if some revenue, so some income is not coming now in this month and the next month. So can this customer really pay back the installment to the bank because they already had a loan? So we see here, this was also a non-performing loan KPI. It was about automation, that then it's working. I just believe in CE we are on a very early start of the journey. Turkey is, I would say, 1-2 steps ahead of that, yeah. But actually, I see that this is coming, and we are now in projects where we really go into building different micro-segments for this specific segment the bank wants to target. So I strongly believe it's following the strategy, and of course there is some legacy on some areas in the technology, but we are working, and I also assume most of the banks here in the room are traditional banks with some history, and you cannot change from today to tomorrow. So you need to really focus how you want to create the value for your customers, and then I believe it's possible, because that's what we could prove and actually successfully deliver with our clients.
I totally agree. We all mention about data maturity, data patterns, quality. Maybe additionally, customer expectation are so struggling, challenging, because some research show us almost 20% of our customers want to work with only digital. Almost 21 of them want to work only relationship manager, and 60 of them want to work both of them, hybrid model. So if you are a conventional banking company, you should invest every channel in omni-channel, to branch, to remote site, to mobile, to web. In the other side, if you are a only digital banking company, your scope is limited. Now, I think these are really struggling.
Alex?
So I see two issues which primarily pertain to my organization. One is, by personalization through digital means, you are essentially taking away responsibility from the relationship managers. They don't like that. And we are seeing a lot of resistance to some of the things which we're doing, because they are used to going out to the customer and having a cup of coffee with them. It's really difficult. So there's a change management aspect there. The other aspect, and I agree with everything what the colleagues said in terms of data quality and so forth. The other aspect is there are also segments out there which do not like personalization, or they don't like over-personalization. I think there's a risk to be too blunt and too direct and inundate the customer with information which he doesn't want to hear, which may even scare him, okay? Because where are you getting the data from? I never agreed to the general data protection rules or whatever, right? And I think you need to get that balance right. And you need to know what your customer expects from you, rather than just bombarding him with cross-selling and upselling opportunities. That's a bit of a risk which you need to be able to balance.
All right. Do you have some questions from the audience? Does anybody would like to ask our speakers? Yes, Julia.
Hello. Mainly the question to Alex. So if you see that there are lots of customers still that are willing to have non-digital customer journey, you're still going to get them to the digital, or you want to still, still going to have the balance. We know that cost constraints, the people are more expensive than technology overall, lots of other problems, but isn't it wise also to point at keep it?
Correct. So we do want to migrate as many customers as possible. One should add, again, this might be specific for my organization, we do have a rather old customer base, and I know this sounds a little bit discriminating, but reality is that 50, 60, 70-year-old business owners are not that digitally affine, as you would expect. So migrating them there is very difficult. The other aspect is also that our relationship managers, we tend to have a rather old organizational structure, relationship management structure. So these are people who've known their customers for many, many years. Getting them to use a digital channel is also very difficult. So yes, there's a lot of work ahead, and I don't think that we will be able to give up our our relationship management approach, and it will be a dominating business model going forward. I think the digital journey is a add-on to what we have. Yeah. Younger customers, smaller businesses will probably go via the digital journey. The slightly bigger organizations or bigger customers, older customers will probably still insist on sort of relationship banking approaches. But it is very challenging to migrate customers. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, yeah. This is a question of strategy, right?
Correct.
Whether we want to, proceed with these customers digitally. In Poland, we do have some banks which decided if there is a micro customer, they don't do the non-digital onboarding. So either the customer is onboarded digitally or the bank doesn't want such a customer because it doesn't pay off. It just doesn't pay for micro. For small, this is a little bit another story, and then this is more revenues from that segment, but micros are mainly digitally served. All right, then the last question from my...
Can I just add, because I just realized, I think the migration to digital journeys will be easier for existing customers, not for new customers. That would be my expectation, because we already have his profile and we just tell him, look, you don't have to meet me for a cup of coffee. Please just go into our website and apply for that loan there. I think that will be much easier, but that's just my assumption at this stage. Yeah.
Alexis, I would have a question, because your approach, and I believe there's always a human touch here, so actually this will stay even if the younger customers are coming. But I assume your approach of having human relationship managers onboarding the clients are not for the micro enterprises. So it's really for those companies with, I don't know, 15 plus, maybe 20 plus. So the micro segment, where like the sole traders, entrepreneurs with a few employees, you are moving to the digital channel?
Correct. So and we have this already since a few years, is the primary product is always a current account. And when he opens that current account digitally, he's also onboarded.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how we think about it. Correct. But we do struggle with, because the discussion came up before, we do struggle a bit with onboarding larger companies for the reason of understanding the economic relationships and who is allowed to do what within the process. So that makes it a little bit more challenging for us. And again, we're a small bank. We don't have the capacities like big Erste Bank and RBI and so on. So it's challenging.
Sorry, do you have one more?
Of course.
Because this is a really interesting topic. How do you see the support of digital devices during the onboarding process? So when you send your relationship manager to the customer and then give him a tablet and say, okay, use it and onboard together with your client, like on behalf, because you're then also, improving your processes.
Right, that's exactly what we're doing.
That's what you're doing.
Exactly what we're doing. Yeah.
Super.
All right. The last question to the panel, primarily we'll start from Gregor, because I know you have such examples that you offer this to the banks. My question is the personalization in real time real? Is it real today, or is it a future? Because I know that you at NF Innova have a platform which actually provides customer, with different customer journeys. Even the mobile or online application could look another way if I'm, as a customer, segmented based on the real-time data this way. For example, if I'm a young private individual or a young private entrepreneur, the dashboards and the look of the application changes for me. So it's different than for a customer, for example, aged, 50 plus, or using another set of products. I know you offered, but is it real? How many banks use it, and is it a future? Because I think this is a really great thing, because, so we don't wait a year, for example, to resegment the customer and receive this another journey and set of products.
Yeah, actually, I think it's not even necessary to have it in real time. What are we analyzing is constantly if the customer segment, based on some criteria, is changing. And what we want to enable is to just have a much quicker time to market when it comes to changing the UI, the UX for the SME client. as you said, to not wait a year. But I also don't see, or we don't see that the necessity is there that on the fly you are changing, because that would also a bit, challenge your customer using it to say, okay, now I'm logging in, it looks completely different. I believe the key here, and this is more internally for the bank, is to have support with technology, that a redesign of an app or a new specific customer segmentation application does not need 6 or 12 months, but you can reuse what you have, and the time to market is much quicker, plus some indicators how you can segment actually or micro-segment this, this look and feel.
Ivan, what's the future of personalization, in your opinion?
AI.
AI, all right.
No, I mean, in the first session, it was discussed, but from what I see, I don't think that the usage of AI we see now in the banking is really about banking. Yeah? It's about customer support and understanding the processes. How can I block my card? And thank you for that. That's great. But that's not really banking specific. Yeah? Now, if you try AI to help customer, yeah, so I can ask it something about my own needs, can't help. Yeah? And we again come back to the data. Yeah? I personally, what I did, I took my payment history from the bank, uploaded it to ChatGPT and started chat. Yeah? So what's my favorite restaurant, how much money I spend on a grocery and whatever. And it was terrible. Yeah? And then I uploaded my enriched data, and it started working. Yeah? It told me what I like, how much I spend where. Even it can help you with how can I save money. Say, okay, you have here subscriptions. We can cancel that. Yeah? And then I said, okay, let's go beyond that. Where do I live? And it actually could tell you. It can tell you, okay, outside of working hours, transactions, weekends, and it's actually here. Yeah, it was right. And where do I work? And the same story. Okay, lunch. Okay, you go for lunch around the work, so it's here. All this is possible with data. And is it surprising? No. I mean, you as a human, if you don't have data, you can't do it. And AI is actually not better than us. So without data, even AI can't do it.
Yeah.
So that's what I believe in. And also this answers the question about real time. Yeah? AI is working every day and every second. So you can do personalization. But first you need to get data right, and then you can try it. But that's not now, I would say.
All right, all right. What are your closing words on
AI.
AI?
Yes, AI.
Okay.
Retail banking are private individual sites are almost 5 years beyond from us as SME banking. They can't solve it, but the personalization problem. I think AI will be able to change the game.
All right.
Yeah.
And Alexis?
Yeah, I think AI is. I wish I had AI, but I do. I don't see in my process. I don't see it at the front end. I see it more at the back end, doing automated credit analysis and so forth. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. Again, as I mentioned, I think, and I don't know what the perception in general is, but the smaller the organization, the more difficult it is to implement AI. Maybe I'm wrong, because it is linked to maintaining data. It is linked to having data analysts look at this information, and we're not there yet, but I wish we were there.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Alexis, Onur, Gregor, and Ivan. Thank you very much.